Mike Tyson, the legend who once ruled the ring, now finds himself fighting for relevance, but at what cost is legacy?
You do look to be in great shape. How is the training camp going? Because we see the 30-second clips with Rafael Cordero and your whole team, but could you give us a little more insight into how things are going?
I'm doing great, but my body is shit right now. I'm sore, I'm really sore.
Sure, he's 100, but G looks good.
Yeah, man, he's looking really, really good. I'm definitely a little bit crazy, and I'm definitely a little bit scared.
Mike Tyson is in total meltdown just 2 months after his iconic showdown with Jake Paul. It's heartbreaking to see the man who was once the most feared in the ring now struggling to adapt to a different scene. The post-fight footage is even more startling, showing that he's gained weight, and it's not muscle. What's going on with him?
The head movement and inside is just wild.
Everything. And the power. It was just, that's what you wanted to see from a heavyweight. So that guy is still alive, and he still remembers all these moments.
After an electrifying return to the ring that left fans rethinking everything about Tyson's legacy, the aftermath has arrived, and it's not pretty. The baddest man on the planet has swapped his championship glory for quick cash and a heavy dose of regret. With his career unraveling faster than his stamina did in the fight, Tyson's comeback is quickly turning into a bloated spectacle.
Tyson, people talk to. There's certain people that are just crazy, man.
Well, these people that think that he don't stand a chance against Jake Paul, they're like, this shouldn't even, like, because he's too old. I was like, I think you're crazy.
Mike Tyson, just his name was enough to send shivers down the spine of anyone who stepped into the ring. He wasn't just a fighter. He was a force of nature, an unstoppable whirlwind that crushed opponents in seconds. Tyson once asked for longer rounds just to see more action. But fast forward to November 15th, 2024, and that same name is now tied to something else: struggle. Tyson's highly anticipated fight against Jake Paul wasn't just a battle of fists. It was a clash of generations, a collision of egos, and a harsh reminder that even the greatest legends must eventually face their decline.
Mike Tyson tweeted that he almost died over the summer. He said, he had a bunch of blood transfusions, just had to fight to get healthy. And then his performance yesterday against Jake Paul, just your thoughts on what we saw.
Mike Tyson was right, and I was wrong.
This wasn't the Tyson we once knew. No, this was a 58-year-old man who had already survived a near-death experience earlier in the year. The once unstoppable force who tore through opponents like paper now faced a YouTuber-turned-boxer nearly half his age. Let's be honest, this fight felt more like a depressing spectacle than a genuine competition.
He was ready to kill everybody on the boat because he had to jump in with all these sharks again in the middle of Florida. And he's like, this fucking asshole says that, he cares about me and everything else. I've been fighting since I was 12. And he throws me in the fucking ocean with a bunch of sharks.
Tyson struggled to find his rhythm as Jake Paul moved around him with the agility of someone half his age. This wasn't the same man who once dismantled opponents with devastating knockouts. This was Mike Tyson, the icon, but now broken, worn out, and barely holding on.
What do you have to say to the critics that brought that up?
Oh, no, I don't remember the fight that much. I kind of blanked out a little.
Sir, did you watch it back or anything, or no?
I never watched the fight. No, I have not.
Okay.
Tyson later admitted to blanking out during parts of the fight. The last thing I remember is Jake bowing in the ring. Let that sink in. The man who once ruled boxing barely remembers the end of his own fight.
The entire fight scenario has pushed Iron Mike into a complete meltdown. Let's be real. Can a 58-year-old man step into the ring without it taking a toll? Not just physically, but emotionally too? Weeks after the fight, Tyson opened up about the emotional aftermath. The fight was such a big ascent. We were so up and high, he admitted.
And I watched the guy's face, and I watched that confidence bleed from his face instantaneously.
In another interview, his words struck a chord, revealing the struggles of a man who dedicated his life to chasing greatness, now coming to terms with the harsh reality that the world has moved on.
It wasn't about what he had left at 58. It was what maybe he might have, and the image, the scary guy, the guy that's going to eat your children, the guy who's the baddest man on the planet.
Mike Tyson's comeback against Jake Paul wasn't just a fight. It's been a whirlwind of emotions and controversy ever since. In a candid December 9th interview, Tyson admitted he's a little depressed after the fight. For a man who once dominated the boxing world, this wasn't just about losing. It was about questioning everything: his place, his purpose, and his legacy.
Your thoughts on what we saw?
Mike Tyson was right, and I was wrong.
I've known him for a long time, but let's not ignore the ethics here. Should a 58-year-old, no matter how legendary like Tyson, even be stepping into the ring for a professional bout? Critics argue it's dangerous, and after watching Tyson's performance, they might have a valid point. This wasn't just a loss. It was a harsh reminder that even the fiercest warriors can't outrun time.
25 million and 40 million?
I think 20 and 40. Yeah, I think that's what I'd heard. You know, which I'm happy Mike got the money, and I'm happy that he didn't get hurt. That was my fear, that it was going to be a real fight and he was going to get hurt.
You've known him for a long time. I've known him for a long time.
So here we are, staring at the messy reality of Tyson's legacy. The man who once ruled the ring like it was his personal playground is now calling out Logan Paul for a future fight. Yep, you heard that right, Logan Paul. After that disastrous show against Jake, Tyson's still out here trying to stay relevant in the game.
Wasn't the Tyson-Jake fight, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
Some say it's all about the money. Who wouldn't want to cash in on that sweet celebrity boxing cash? But let's be honest, Tyson isn't exactly starving. He's got millions in the bank. No, this isn't about finances. It's something deeper. Maybe Tyson just can't let go of his glory days. There's a certain allure in staying relevant when the world has moved on, and Tyson clearly hasn't figured out how to stop craving that spotlight. So, he calls out Logan Paul, and suddenly, the fight takes on a life of its own. But there's a catch. How much of Tyson's legacy is he willing to risk? The man's been through hell and back in his life, and now, instead of riding off into the sunset, he's back at square one, trying to convince us, and himself, that he still has it. The problem is, every time Tyson steps into the ring, he's adding a new chapter to a story that doesn't need more pages. His name is already legendary. Does he really need another hit to his record to prove something? Now, let's zoom out for a second and look at this comeback in a broader context. Tyson's return is about more than just Tyson. It's about boxing itself. And oh boy, does it have a lot to say about the state of the sport. We got to talk about celebrity boxing. Yes, it's a thing now, deal with it. Don't get me wrong, the money's great, but it's also eroding the spirit of the sport. Where are the next Mike Tyson, the next Muhammad Ali? Instead, we're watching a battle of Instagram stars, and it's a shameless spectacle. Tyson's loss to Jake Paul wasn't just a personal moment of failure. It's a flashing neon sign that says boxing is in trouble.